How you doing, Dr. B? This is Teron Scott, just coming to you talking about my project presentation, which will discuss the differences in the study between working students, like students that have jobs on campus, and non-working students, people that don't have too many jobs, don't have a job on campus. And pretty much the study distinguishes anxiety and depression between the two. It's pretty much just basing how much how much different how much different it is for a non-working student to have anxiety rather than the working student to have anxiety, and the level of anxiety that one may have. And the same goes for the depression. Like it's believed before the research was done, it was believed that working students would have more depression and anxiety than non-working students, which is not entirely true. Experiment was also given to try to show if depression or anxiety had anything to do with grade point average. That's why they took working students and non-working students to excuse me, I'm sorry, to try to see if they would contradict, if them working would contradict anything that had to do with their grade point average. So in this specific topic, first off, the experiment was given by three college students as they gathered along their peers. About 110 of their peers participated, and for the grade point average experiment, only 91 of the results of their grade point average wanted it to be seen. So out of the 91 people who allowed us to see their grade point average, 67 of them were working students and 24 of them were non-working students. Now, when averaging out the working students' grade point average, it came out to an average of 2.95 out of 4.0, which is not too bad for a grade point average, especially as a whole group. And when averaging out the non-working students, that grade point average came out to be a 2.93, thus showing that there's no huge difference between working students and non-working students' grade point average. So that was step one, just showing that, rather than to see how many people really feel as though they were dealt with anxiety and who were dealt with depression. That brought us to this questionnaire I would call, it was an experiment that they did also called the Beck Depression Inventory. They called it the BDI-2. So what they did with that was, it's pretty much a demographic. It's like a chart. And it has 21 questions on there. And each question you are graded between 0 through 3. And this goes within a 2-week time span. After the 2 weeks, you're graded within each question through 0 through 3. And they just asking you questions about different things that have to do with life. How was your 2 weeks going? To see if they get any words out of you for depression or anxiety or anything of that nature. So, for example, if you score your total score after the 2 weeks from between 0 to 13, then you have like little to no depression at all. And those who was in the 14 to 19 range was at a possible mild depression range. And if you were ranked between 20 to 28, which is like the level 3 grade level, that was pretty much like moderate depression. And anything higher than that, like 29 to 63, would be jotted down as serious depression. As a result, it would show that working students tend to have more anxiety symptoms than non-working students. However, non-working students tend to have more stress than a working student. Also, which is the biggest fact in my opinion, because it surprised me personally the most, the research showed that there was no significant difference between depression within non-working and working students. Now that surprised me the most because I feel as though working students will have more of a depression than non-working students, because they have things to do. They have a lot less time on their hands. They have a lot of work to do. They have people they have to interact with at work and at school, as well as having family issues and your own personal reasons to be depressed, rather than non-working students who don't run into as many people and as many characteristics and many different faces as other people that may cause depression or cause like outbursts or anything that like just brings a person down. So ultimately, that's my project, Dr. B, and I hope you have a good night and see you next semester. Not in this class though.